The Pokemon world is about to get flipped on its head. I'm just gonna cut right into the bone here with some news going on in Nintendo, where Game Freak just confirmed that they just went through a massive data leak. Game Freak, for those that don't know, are the developers that are co-owned by both Nintendo and the Pokemon Company. They're basically the same people that developed Pokemon games. They just confirmed that they went through a crazy leak, and now this being dubbed the Terra leak, kind of similar to the 2020 Giga leak. So let's just get right into the article because there is a lot to talk about here. And you may want to sit down for something I'm about to explain later in the video because this gets even weirder as we go down this rabbit hole. First reported by Nintendo Life, there's been a flood of never before seen Pokemon art, design, documents, and other developmental material on social media, all apparently originating from the catastrophic security breach of Pokemon developer Game Freak. Game Freak itself has put out a statement confirming that it was hacked and that employees' names and contact information has been compromised. Much of the material reportedly from the leak has been shared to X, the Everything app by Central Leaks, an established source on Pokemon leaks and rumors, but the PokeLeaks subreddit is also awash with content supposedly obtained in the hack, which Central Leaks has dubbed the Terra leak in reference to the similar 2020 Giga leak suffered by Nintendo. The stuff that we're seeing here in this leak is things that we've never even seen before. And mind you, this isn't just, oh, these are just, projects that they've been working on just like the past few years and everything. No, this is stuff that they've been working on or stuff they don't even use anymore over the course of decades, and I think that's what makes this leak even crazier. A moderator on PokeLeaks, Vagrant Wade, has said that their team is having to sift through a bunch of fakes that people are now trying to sneak through, and it is currently difficult to determine the provenance of individual posts. And you can see there's like a list of things that they've uncovered so far, like work in progress spirits of the Gen 3, 4, and 5 Pokemon games, concept art of the original 1997 anime, design bible background lore on the Pokemon setting, minutes from the Pokemon Company meeting about the concluding the 26-year journey of perpetual 10-year-old Ash Ketchum, top-line pitches for a Detective Pikachu movie sequel, as well as a movie with the working title Game Boy, and then Ounce, which is a codename for the Switch 2. That is just insane. That is a lot of information that we should have no access to whatsoever, but here we are. Like, even the fact that it's already being seen that there is a next Pokemon game being developed and it's going to be available for the Switch 2 and the Switch. We already know that the Switch 2 is right around the corner. It's just a matter of just Nintendo just announcing the Switch 2 and revealing it and letting us know when it's going to come out. But the fact that the Nintendo Switch 2 is already having a Pokemon game being developed already implies that the Switch 2 is just around the corner. Plus, it's pretty crazy that they even dug up a lot of other documents and sources of media. And it's also pretty crazy that they also found like a minute's call on Ash Ketchum or concluding his Pokemon journey, which by the way was a very big deal when Ash Ketchum was just became like a Pokemon champion and he was just done with Pokemon. He was just going to retire as being one of the greatest Pokemon trainers that ever was. This is a lot. And you even saw it there in the article. You have people that are just already still like sorting through all the content that's supposedly in the leak, trying to sort them out and then just looking at the ones that were confirmed to be in the leak. Game Freak uploaded a Japanese language statement on October 10th confirming that it was hacked, but notably has not yet confirmed that Pokemon design materials were part of that hack. Looking at, presumably machine-generated, translations from Twitter users Adrian and Braish Gaming, Game Freak states that its servers were breached in August. Game Freak disclosed that the names and the work email addresses of 2,606 current and former employees, as well as external contractors, were compromised in the hack. For perspective, according to Wikipedia, Game Freak has 207 active employees as of this year. The Pokemon brand is co-owned by Nintendo, the Pokemon Company, but Game Freak, particularly its co-owners, Satoshi Tajiri and Ken Sugimori, created the property. Game Freak continues to be the developer of all mainline Pokemon games while being involved in the production of spin-offs and adaptations. So I don't think y'all understand how big this is. You are talking about a game developer that went through a massive leak. The same game developer that's responsible for all the main Pokemon games that we know and love since the 90s. Now, if you think this is crazy, what you're about to hear next is even more wild and will kind of make you want to scratch your head or even think to yourself, what the fuck is going on? And you probably have come across this sort of posts or discussions on your social feeds as well. We need to talk about the situation going on with Typhlosion. So for those that don't know, Typhlosion is a second generation Pokemon. He's a third stage, or he's the final evolution of Cyndaquil. You choose Cyndaquil as a fire type, and then once you evolve Cyndaquil twice, you get Typhlosion. Now with Typhlosion, there's something we need to discuss because what I'm about to tell you here will be pretty crazy. From the leaks over the weekend, players found out some truly bizarre lore about a popular Generation 2 creature and its relationship to the Pokemon universe. Uncovered in the leaks was a story regarding a fire-type Pokemon Typhlosion and relationship between a Pokemon and a human. Furthermore, it wasn't a wholesome type of lore that the series usually employs for its storytelling, as it's one of the most disturbing bits of lore that was leaked for the series. Most disturbing parts of the series are contained within the Pokédex, so this lore is even more disturbing than normal, as it is fully fleshed out story. The disturbingly bizarre story details a girl going into the mountains one evening to find food for her family, but not being able to return to her home that evening because it's too dark. The rest of the story details the story of Typhlosion, who kidnaps the girl, rudely convinces her to marry him, or basically gaslit her, and then later gives birth to a half-human, half-Pokemon child before Typhlosion abandons her and allows her to be ridiculed by the people of her town. Not only is this bit of the lore absurd, but the fact that it was scraped, meaning that it was likely intended for inclusion in the Generation 2 Pokemon games. This does not fall in line with Game Freak's family-friendly tradition, which makes the story even more eerie. I think what makes this even crazier is the fact that they had this in their database, and hackers were able to uncover this. Maybe it was in the database, maybe it wasn't. Someone just threw a story in there and it just caught wind, and then now all of a sudden everyone thinks Typhlosion is a pedophile or some sort. But I still think it's absolutely crazy, say if it was true, that is in the database, that they would keep a story like this for 20 years. Like, why do you have a story like that for 20 years in your database? I don't know why you would even bring this story to life onto writing or into a document to begin with. Now, let's be honest, there's been a lot of disturbing stories that we learn about Pokemon, and yes, a lot of those disturbing stories take place in the Pokédex. You kind of have to look into the Pokédex and read through the bios of like Pokemon and their lore. There are some dark natures and dark occasions that have occurred with certain Pokemon. Like Cubone, for instance, that would wear the skull of its mother. Mimikyu will kill anybody that dare sees what's underneath the whole cloth that kind of resembles that of Pikachu. Or Beware, a Pokemon that you wouldn't want to hug you because it will just simply snap your spine into a twig and just leave you for dead. With the current leak that just happened, there seems to be some stories or lore that never really surfaced into the public eye, where you have Pokemon having relations with humans. And mind you, Typhlosion may be the most controversial because Typhlosion's lore involves a young girl, which we would all assume is basically a minor. We do have other Pokemon that also got caught into this whole fiasco. You do have Octillery that had sexual relations with a man. Then you have Slakoth, who also had some sort of relation with a woman. It's just so weird that this is in their database to begin with. Allegedly. Again, Game Freak or Pokemon or the Pokemon Company is not going to confirm a lot of these. If they're out there on the internet, they're out there on the internet and just going to leave us to speculation, when it comes to what is really true and what isn't. But looking at this whole situation has been an absolute mess. I've been seeing a lot of memes, especially with Typhlosion, how people are just saying like, oh, you know, they not like us. So especially when it comes to Typhlosion, it's absolutely insane what I've been seeing on social media. I'm not gonna lie, the memes are pretty funny, but at the same time, I just shake my head and think to myself, like, why would this kind of lore be in a family-friendly game like Pokemon? Now, a lot of people are saying that this whole leak, especially with Typhlosion, is like Vaporeon 2.0. For those that don't know, or for the uninitiated, there was a 4chan user that made a post on 4chan talking about how Vaporeon is the most breedable Pokemon, and this person would go in depth as to why Vaporeon is a breedable Pokemon to begin with. It's absolutely crazy. It became a whole copy pasta. So now people are saying that Typhlosion just really overshadowed Vaporeon when it comes to this kind of situation, because now Vaporeon is one thing. It's just some person that just decided to go all in on why humans are capable of breeding this specific Pokemon to a Pokemon that forced themselves on a child. So of course Typhlosion is going to overshadow Vaporeon in that situation. But other than that, this whole thing is a mess. I'm tired, y'all. I don't even follow Pokemon so much, but then this came across my social feed. I just saw like the hack. I'm like, oh, that sucks. You know, Game Freak got hacked. Then all of a sudden the leak starts showing up. Like, oh, all right, Switch 2, all right, codename Ounce, and then you had the next Pokemon game, codename Gaia. And then Typhlosion was trending, and I'm like, why is Typhlosion trending? And I just had to see that. So, yeah, that's what's been going on. So now you know for the next time you venture the wild, wild web we call the internet. But until then, y'all, that's about it. Go catch 'em all. Until next time, y'all. Peace.